Welcome to Overdrive AF, the official podcast of Overdrive Fitness. My name is Teddy Gerzon, and I'm with Gina Marie Gerzon.
What's up?
Also, as always with us, Destroyer, putting it together, producing it, making sure it's chopped and screwed.
What's up?
And we have a guest today. We have Frank.
Or Franklin.
Franklin. That's what CJ always says, but CJ always butchers things.
Well,
right?
yeah.
So how do you want to go? What do you want to be called?
Well, we can go with Franklin,
All right,
Frankie.
I like all of it.
Yeah.
Go with your emotion in the moment. That's
All right, yeah.
that's really like that's how I roll, man. Just how you're feeling, go with it. Don't go against it. Trust your instincts.
That's how we train here too.
All right.
It'd
Right?
be like
Go by feel.
Go by feel.
just Frank. No, because we know how CJ is. Like, he introduced us to a friend of his. He's like, yeah, he's got a bad back. He's about like 55.
Well,
Dude's
he's
like
42.
I'm like, bro, how tight are you with this guy?
This is my brother. I'm like, how many brothers do you have?
Sounds about right.
I mean, it's great.
Hey, that's why I'm used to it.
Yeah.
So he's been like that literally our whole life. Like when I can remember when we were like in kindergarten maybe, or even like it was preschool or kindergarten. I can't remember. It was one of those like early schools, and I was like nervous as hell going to school. I was just like, one of those shy kids.
Oh
like,
my God.
Yeah.
you get around kids for the first time. You're just like this one. Not even batted an eye. He was just like, oh, hey, who are you? Walking around. So I knew him before we went to school because we literally lived right next door to each other. Mm-hmm. And we went to the same school. So I was just like, all right, let me stay next to him. And as long as I stay next to him, I'll be cool. I'll know everybody in the school. I'll be fine. So that was my method. Stay with him.
Sounds about right.
And we've been following that method now for 30 years?
Great.
That's
Hey,
dope.
hasn't failed you. So, right?
Yeah. So,
That's
yeah.
awesome. We gotta have CJ on as a guest one time. That's definitely gonna happen.
Yeah, definitely.
You can always chime in, TJ.
I hope the world's ready for that.
Yeah, right.
So,
But I guess I'm here today to really talk about my company, Nutrizone, my brand, a lot of things that I've been doing in the past couple of years, and the future of what I want to bring to fitness. And I guess that kind of brings into our topic. What I wanted to talk about today was the future of like fitness and health industry and what that kind of looks like from different perspectives and different eyes of, because to me, fitness is very subjective. And it's very much like you just said, it's about the feel and about the look and what really someone deems is the best for their body in particular. It's not a one size fits all for everybody.
Absolutely.
So it's like it's a game of customization, I like to say. And with that, the business of fitness is also customizable, I should say. It's such a wide, broad landscape out there. You can kind of take any lane or path to kind of get the goal that you want to get to. And I guess within that, there's the confusion of which path do I take, or which way do I go, or what's the best path to kind of go with. Mm-hmm. So with Nutrizone, that's where I want to kind of hone in a lot of that confusion. And where a lot of companies and brands have kind of focused on the client, I want to focus more on the trainer and focus more on the instructors and the people that have to actually bring the health to the world and bring it to the clients. It's almost the same theory of who cuts the barber's hair or who therapizes the therapist. Who takes care of our health professionals, the people that have to have everyone functioning and running around the day. Who's going to take care of those people? Granted, you would assume we have the knowledge and the wherewithal to take care of ourselves, but it's just like anybody else, who has the time to actually sit there and take care of themselves, especially when our life and time is dedicated to taking care of others. So I wanted to hone that in and bring a company and a channel that brought more of that awareness to actual trainers and provide more of a platform where they can promote their businesses, promote themselves digitally, especially in the landscape where I see where we're heading, especially due to the year that we just had. And that digital space, I feel like, is going to be wide open and is going to be our next form of consuming content and health. And if there could be someone to almost have a platform to promote trainers and give them the leg up in that regard, and also not take advantage of them in the process, I feel like that's where we're heading next, and I want to, facilitate that for the next crop or the current crop or whatever it be of, health professionals.
Right.
So that's what Nutrizone really kind of stands on right now, and that's why I'm here to, talk to you guys and, talk to you about what you think about health and fitness. You guys have, a great facility. I've been coming for a couple years now, here and there, and I love hanging with you guys, and, I love what you've created with the formula of how you do your fitness structure here. And the attention, I hear details from him all the time about the meal plan and stuff that you have him do, and I'm just like, oh, really? That's dope. And it actually helps me kind of fine tune my business and how the attention to detail that I put to things. Mm-hmm. And I like surrounding myself with people like that, because you probably know, obviously, but not a lot of trainers don't focus on detail too much. And I always like to say that separates the good trainers from the great trainers. And I can always recognize a great trainer when I see one because of that detail. And, I recognize that in you guys. So,
Franklin. So, it's great to have you here.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
So, do you want, I don't know where you want to start,
Yeah,
but
wherever you have your mind.
I think for us that we have such a special community of members and athletes here, and everybody gets along so well. And I think the fact that everybody can come together doesn't matter their age,
right.
And everybody can be here in the moment and do what's best for them within the hour that they're here. Even though it's a class, and we can have one-on-one sessions and small group sessions going on, and athletes training, and everybody could be doing something similar or different, but everybody's sharing the space and being respectful of each other,
right.
Which I think is really important. I think everybody feeds off that. So we can have the teenagers and the 70-year-olds here, and the 80-year-olds here, and the 50-year-olds here, the husbands and wives, the brothers and sisters, the fathers and sons,
right.
Training at the same time.
The siblings by blood, though, right, CJ?
Right. And, by situation or association, too.
Right.
I really feel like the energy is extremely important. People feel really good when they come here. And I think that they know that they can leave everything outside the door, and they feel better when they leave. They come in here, they can let it all go, let the bar take it, just because the bar can handle it.
Right.
The barbell can handle, the iron can handle it.
Right.
Because it doesn't give a shit about you,
mm-hmm.
right? And I think it's important to allow people to be where they are in the moment. So we have athletes who are, trying to retain their scholarships within this craziness that's, right? So they're doing their best to maintain their athletic scholarships in college, even though sports are canceled, and they find out at the last second,
right.
Or they're being pushed back. We have, people who are coming in that their doctors are telling them, look, the blood work is not what I've hoped it to be. We need to change something. We have people in their 30s, 40s, and different ages that want to make a huge change because they've never been able to do that in their entire lives.
Yeah.
And we've had major transformations here, and people feed off that. And then we have people who just want to lift heavy. We have people who just want to feel good and de-stress, and they don't care about what numbers they're pulling or pressing. We have a nice mix of people, right, Teddy? I would say.
Oh,
yeah. And, with the way we structure everything, it's not just about the training. It's about the nutrition. It's about how do you feel. It's keeping people accountable, allowing them to really take part in their process and their transformations. And when they succeed and then when they fail, it's okay. So what went wrong? What could we do better? And within this whole this past year and this lockdown, and Desi's been a part of that too, and CJ's seen it because he's been with us for so long, that it's allowed us to be really creative. and do we sink or do we swim? And really putting our heads together and literally talking people off ledges, athletes and adult members, where the suicide rate and the thought of suicide was so high during the lockdown that having some sort of communication between your coaches, Zoom workouts, so that we could see a smiling face and talk to each other, just holding people together, because I think, families were at each other's throats. There was a lot of domestic calls going on with the police, and, having them, run to these situations during, this past year has been crazy for everybody.
Right.
And even colleagues of ours who businesses have shut down, are struggling, like to the point where, and we've all felt this, that, and then, even as a husband and wife in this business together, continuing to have a healthy relationship as partners, as business partners, what can we do for our members and our athletes to keep them sane, to keep them from not jumping over the edge? You know what I mean?
No, I definitely know what you mean.
And, being in the holidays and not being able to see our family and some of our friends, and, everybody deals with that stress in different ways. And to be able to come back to Overdrive and be present with everybody, and wherever that is, 30 pounds heavier because of the lockdown, even losing 10 pounds because nobody was eating and they were stressed beyond belief, losing all their muscle mass, they weren't able to work out, they didn't have anything at home, maybe all they had was their body, did the best that they can on our Zoom workouts, and we were delivering workouts every single day for our members and our athletes. We had members rent out equipment, borrow equipment so that they could do what they could, writing up programs for people.
Right.
It's allowed us to be really creative and really to be there for everybody, allows us to be more of what we've always been. So it's been one hell of a year, I must say.
I can imagine. Like they say, tragedy breeds creativity.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, for sure.
I'm sure this year has showed a lot of that, and I mean, I can speak for me personally. It's just I feel like I've had one of my better years personally as being a trainer, and just kind of not having the gym facility behind. I'm from Equinox. I don't know if he ever told you, but I've been training at Equinox, and kind of not having the Equinox umbrella over me and that safety net, and kind of forcing you to kind of sink or swim, like you mentioned. Yeah. It bred the creativity and the hunger to kind of push and kind of change directions and kind of see in a bigger picture what I want for myself, and also what I want for all my clients that I have under me, because you have to lead by example, and you have to lead, show them that the things that you're preaching are also the things that you live by, and keeping yourself sane and keeping yourself I guess mentally stable. So I guess my next question to ask you is, what do you do for yourself personally, and you, Teddy, what do you guys do to keep yourself mentally stable and mentally sane through all of the times that everyone else is dealing with in the world at the time, but also making sure that the people that follow you stay mentally sane and stable during this time?
Well, for myself, the biggest thing is having structure. So set a schedule, stick to it, have your habits set in place that you do every day. So you're going to brush your teeth every day, right? You're going to brush your teeth when you get up, you're going to brush your teeth when you go to bed, right? So things have to be so habitual that it's just it's second. You don't even think about it. You just do it every day, right? So, in order to, what I've learned from this lockdown is it's when every trainer had to go online was that there's so many people out there you're trying to compete against to keep your business afloat, and the biggest thing that everyone really needed wasn't a new exercise, a new workout. It was the accountability, right? Now you can only deliver your top-notch service and accountability for someone as long as you can only do it as best as you can if you're mentally right? So keeping yourself mentally sane, a lot of the things that I've really learned about specifically myself was that if I'm going to have all this energy to give to everybody, then I got to make sure I'm not draining it on things that are unnecessary or not a high priority. So I'm I happen to think so, at least for myself, and you could chime in on it. But I happen to think that like I've gotten really good, or at least better, at literally just turning it off. Like when we leave here at night, I don't think about work. I don't want to. I really don't. Because then like, not that we don't love this place, but working with other people, running a business, it can be stressful.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're stressed, that's going to dip into the energy that you have for someone. So it's like, for instance, like if you're running a race, you always know you're going to have a certain amount of energy. When you're out of it, it's gone. Right. Playing basketball, football, game's over, you're probably drained completely.
Right.
Well, it's the same thing with running a business every single day. Right. So, I can't be my best if I don't have all my energy. Right. But during work hours, I'm all in. Right. So, if someone may or may not be having a great day, it's not that I don't care, but I'm going to give you as much energy as I can without taking away from the other like 95% of the members that we have, right? So some people, they need tough love. They're gonna want you to coddle them, but you can't coddle everybody. Like you gotta let people like fall on their face and like pick themselves up, regardless of their age. And that's happened a lot in these times. So you're never gonna have that energy if you don't prioritize things and have a schedule set. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, for instance, the middle of the day is very important for us. Like we get up early, we're here 5 to noon every day. Well, from 12 to 3, that's like we're recharging for the afternoon. Right. So it doesn't mean like I'm sleeping for 3 hours, and we eat.
And we spend time together. We literally, now we go home, we have our dogs, but we go home and we sit and we eat lunch, and we actually like, okay, we'll watch a portion of let's pick out a movie, and like for those 20 minutes we'll watch part of it. That's like a ritual for us. Like now we just shut it down and eat and like laugh.
It's like an escape.
You see what I mean?
Nah,
like,
I know exactly what you mean.
We'll watch a movie or something something funny or something silly or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
So
talk about work. We don't, because it's different. Like, let's just say you're sitting in front of a computer and people are, and that's stressful too. But when we walk in these doors, like everything switches turn on. So like 5 million things are coming at you at once.
Right.
Who has to weigh in? Who didn't show up? Who didn't? Who has? And then I need my workout. This and that. Well, how much weight do I put on the bar? How's it this? And it's like a million things at once, and you have to be able
like
to handle.
Overload.
Yeah. So I think even sometimes family, I don't think they understand. Like when we get home, it's like we're spent. Like we just need to just chill for a second, and because it's literally on, like
you're on all the time.
Next magazine.
I like to tell my family too when I come in town a lot. Like you can imagine they're like, "Oh, this is hurting. What should I do for this? Or what can I do for?" I'm like, "Hey guys, listen. I'm on vacation. Like I'm here from LA. Like so." I took off from work. I didn't take off from work to come and then work again. Hope y'all understand that.
And then, it's a respect thing too.
Right.
Like, and I don't think people understand sometimes. But then I think they're also. It's like Teddy he puts it really. You're managing personalities.
Right.
Right. And it's never to be offensive to anyone, because we want to give time to everybody, and everybody's important. And then at the same time, it's like, this one has a question, this one, okay, so please email us, or getting texts at 2 a.m. or 11:30 at night. Can you put me in this class? Can you put me? And I can say, now you just gotta, it's like this. We have to disconnect a little bit, because then it envelops you,
right?
And then you don't have anything left.
You don't get the decompressed time, and the time to actually build yourself back up mentally and stable, and have that stability to then take on the next day.
Yeah.
Of the same sensory overload, and again, it's like
totally.
And it's just honestly, and I think that's where the importance, and I think there has to be more like awareness brought to it, just like anything else, where like people don't know what they don't know. So you would think like, oh yeah, the barber, he cuts my hair. You don't necessarily think like, yeah, he has to get a haircut too himself. So, and he can't necessarily cut his own hair, so he then leans on someone else to help him. I was like, I like to tell my clients all the time, like, I have a trainer for myself.
Yeah.
Because though I'm a trainer for you, I also need to be trained and pushed in the same way that I do for you. I need to be done for myself because ultimately I'm human just like you. So
we all need the accountability.
Right. We all need the
Absolutely.
same
Oh
accountability.
my
We
God.
all need the same push. And I like to mention that to them personally just so they understand and get the awareness of it. Just like, I'm human just like you. So when I'm telling you these things, it's not because I'm telling you this from a textbook or from a judgy standpoint or anything like that. I'm telling you from experience and what I can actually bring to your life. And just,
Absolutely.
it's almost like I did this so you don't have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause you can take the different route and take it for, a better place for yourself.
And I think practicing what you preach is really important too,
Mhm.
right? I mean, so I think we're all in different phases of maybe where our training is throughout the year, and things change constantly too. So like, sometimes I could be leaning out, and other times Teddy could be putting on some size. So things look different,
Right.
but it doesn't mean we're not working hard.
Exactly.
So, allowing everybody to see the changes is important because that's part of their process too, right? So it's like,
Exactly.
and I think what I feel like is why everybody's so comfortable here, and they see that our process is successful. Our process,
It
plural.
works. Right.
The fact that we are so accountable for each other and for ourselves, it allows them to understand that they need to be accountable for themselves to be successful. We need to partner, training and nutrition and mobility and rest and all of those things to combine into that success. So when we tell you to rest. When we tell you to, okay, can you push it? I think you can push it. So let's push it.
Right.
Let's scale back a little bit. Are you getting your macros in? What about your portion? Like, are you following your portions? Are you
Right.
drinking enough water? Are you getting enough sleep? That kind of thing.
Right.
Like, we focus on habits. Like, habits are so important. When we designed the app, the habits are placed in each of our members' dashboards so that they know what to do. So we created our app several months ago.
We
Ready to say-
applied for it to be developed in August, and it was ready by like third week of September.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
It
it's been-
was actually
been-
very fast.
Yeah,
It
that's-
normally takes like 8 to 12 weeks, and we got it done in like less than 6.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
What's the name of that?
Overdrive Fitness.
Joe's
Overdrive
Fitness.
Fitness?
Yeah.
Oh,
Tighten's
okay.
face.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna check that out.
And it I think for that too, it allows us. So now we are able to reach people remotely. So like Desi does a lot of his workouts remotely.
Okay.
And Desi's mom too. Like CJ, when he misses something, it's placed in his dashboard and he knows what to do. Like, so we have members who, if they choose to get a second workout in,
Okay.
we have different types of workouts set, more aerobically based or conditioning based,
Okay.
and more strength based. So we have members who are working remotely, specifically just remotely, and understand because of the present situation.
Right.
And because they're not close, we have members in
And
North
also
and
that
South
too.
Carolina.
Thank you.
As far up as Maine,
Okay.
Connecticut. So like they're not going to come here.
Right.
They can't.
Yeah.
So our app is like allows us to
Right. Be accessible to them.
the
and
same exact way that they would train here in person.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
And we input those habits and the accountability into the app. So the nutrition is set for them, the training is set for them. They can pick and choose on exercises if something doesn't work for them.
Okay.
We're able to customize everything for them. So talking about individualization and allowing them to be accountable, because every week we check in. Weights need to be checked in. If people are coming in, CJ knows we got to get a weight on the scale. We got to get a body fat check in.
Okay.
Like every week, what's working, what's not working, right? CJ. So like, that kind of thing. So it's allowed us to reach more people, which is awesome. Now, hopefully when things start to open up again and people are traveling more, that they can go on vacation, the workouts are there for them.
Right.
Doesn't matter the weather, doesn't matter the distance, doesn't matter nothing. It's all there for them. 7 days a week, boom, it's there.
Okay.
So
That sounds.
we've been working really hard this lockdown.
I see. I see.
Coach Kevin Mendoza, who's not here, and Desi knows. Desi was on the workouts with me all through the lockdown. Coach Kevin Mendoza was the one filming the workouts and filming our videos. We would be in here doing 100 videos in an hour, trying to create our library and expand our library. And we use all of those exercises now as part of the app for our members and our athletes. So regardless if they're remote or they're present, they have everything literally at their fingertips. So we're working hard.
And that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. And that's talking about tragedy breeding creativity right there, like in a nutshell.
Yes.
And so I guess that kind of leads me into my next question then. Like, when I come here, it's drastically, I mean, given like recently, but when I was coming here like over the summer and stuff, it was drastically different how they had it here in New York, in the whole state of New York, compared to like the whole state of California, where everything was literally shut down. Like, you couldn't do anything. If you tried to like even just go inside to use the bathroom, they would look at you like crazy. So we literally had to shift everything outside. Like, even with equinoxes, we had to go to different locations, and we started moving equipment to like rooftops and like parking lots and things like that, just so we can keep certain facilities open and keep the business going. And with that, with certain gyms that were here, they were still kind of allowing people to come in and do indoor stuff. And it's not just here. They were doing it in like Georgia or Texas or Florida, and like other places and stuff. So with that being said, like, there's obviously different visions of fitness given your geographic like region. So I guess over here, what does fitness kind of look like going forward after the pandemic, after coronavirus? And then I guess I can talk about like what it's kind of shifting towards in California, and then I guess the merger between the two, because at some point I think the overlap is going to happen between the physical and the digital world and landscapes of fitness. So
Did you want to start there, Teddy? Or?
Well, I mean, everything always comes down to a lowest common denominator, and you know, everyone's going to want to, weight loss is always going to be at the top, right? People are always going to want to lose weight, lose fat, and that's just the fact. It's just the stats show, you know, nothing's changed. Like, we're in the largest epidemic of the world, in the history, and that's an obesity epidemic. We, like, the Black Plague didn't last this fucking long. You know, the obesity's been around, I think it's we're going like 15, 20 years now. Maybe more. So, I mean, the future of fitness is always going to involve that. Now, I just think accountability-based fitness is going to be where the future is. So, you know, I mean, specifically for us too, our capacity has shrunk, right? We're not allowed to have as many people in here like we normally would, right? But the most successful people are all in with their accountability. Now, it doesn't mean that like they're obsessed, right? It just means that like we have our weekly meetings, like CJ does with Gina. You know, we have other ways of keeping them accountable. So it's not even like, I guess you could say it's almost a blessing in disguise too, because normally, like traditionally, you would have a coach. You would meet with them once a week if you didn't see them every day, right? You would have your little powwow and be on with it. And we're not the only ones. You know, there are plenty of other companies that have apps or other means of contacting their members or keeping them on track, and we're able to track on the fly, you know, on top of like their body weight and body fat, but like see what they're logging with their food, see if they completed a workout that we programmed for them, what weights they chose for it, what bands, you know, how long it took them. They give us instant feedback on a scale of 1 to 10 how it went, plus a comment if something bothered them or if they were just like, I'm fucking dead, right? So the digital world, as far as fitness is concerned, there are many pluses. Now, what sucks sometimes is like, you know, as technologically advanced as we can get, you know, I just feel like people always need to be around other people. Like, you can never remove the human factor from it. Like, yeah, AI is great, but like it still takes a lot of manpower to make it perfect, right? So it's never going to be perfect. So it's I think the ones that are going to survive and thrive are the ones that are personable, right? So you know, you got to keep your personality, yourself specifically, in demand, right? Because anybody can go anywhere and get a free workout and free nutrition anywhere. It may or may not work, but they didn't spend anything. But if someone loves being around you, whether it be from the opposite side of a screen or in person, you know, I mean, like, let's put it this way. No one works out through pain because they love feeling pain. I shouldn't say no one. There are some fucking psychos out there.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, they're probably into some weird shit. They got some, like, crazy safety words, like pineapple pancakes or something. But, but, like, you know, people, you know, if they keep working out, like, yeah, there's the endorphin release, but, like, they do it because it's fun.
Right.
They do it for the end result, right? So as long as, like, something's always fun and entertaining, you're going to keep doing it, you know? Like, no one was just, like, I mean, you guys are the same age?
I'm a year older.
All right, so we're all familiar with, like, back in elementary school, if, like, you messed up, you would either have to face the wall at recess or write lines on the wall, on the board, right? Like, you know, I will not pants Jeremy in social studies anymore. Like,
exactly.
I mean,
I will do
maybe
my
I didn't get in trouble for that or something. Yeah, right? So, like, you have to write, like, 100 of those on the board. Like, no one was just like, oh, I love going to school because I was always getting in trouble and I always had to do homework. No. But, like, you did love going to school because you had fun with certain people, certain things that you love doing, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, like, the future of fitness is always, as long as you're making things fun, you're having success, you know, and you keep yourself in demand, I think you're going to be successful going forward. But, and we can't say, I mean, I know you definitely can't say that you definitely don't have fun here. Like, people come in, like, I think it's always our goal to make someone laugh at least once before they leave. Because I know what's going to happen. As soon as they get home, they're going to be like, fuck, I can't move.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be like, man, they were mean.
Exactly.
And I'm in pain. I want them to be like, laugh off the pain. Be like, oh my God, my glutes are so sore, I can't move.
You always got to make them feel. Yeah. It's like, you can't, like, you got to make them feel good, bad, but never indifferent. Mm-hmm. So I think, and it's always best to make them feel good. So, you know, if you can make them laugh, I think that's always the recipe to kind of keeping people around you in any field of anything that you do, is making people feel good and making people feel like, you know, like they want to be around you, like you said. Yeah. So I definitely agree.
And to touch something on before, it was like, wait, first of all, what position you played basketball, right?
Right.
What position you play?
Sure, man, I played all of them, literally. I played from high school, I was like the 3 and the 4. I got to college, I was like the 2 and the 3. Then I started playing my running pro, and I was playing point guard. Mm-hmm. So I ended playing point guard, but I was like a really tall kid and kind of like plateaued out for the rest of my life. If you kind of see the trajectory, how that went.
As the level of competition got tougher, you started moving down towards the 1.
Yeah.
So, like, I would, like, almost going back to earlier, like, you know, sensory overload and all that shit. It was just like, it's basically like running point every day. We walk in here, you know what I mean? So it's like, you always got to be ahead. You know, you can't get so caught in the moment, and you're never gonna have that energy to run everything if you don't prioritize yourself all the time. So it's like, we're not just like putting people through workouts. We gotta know, like, all right, where are we with the time? Like, how much time's left on the shot clock?
Right.
You know, some days are crazy, and you're like, all right, we're going full court press all day. You know, like some like Rick Pitino shit. Right. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, it was just like 12 o'clock hits and we're like, halftime. Get on my face.
Right.
Right? Second half comes, I like full court press again, bring it. You know what I'm saying? But like when the game's over, game's over. And like, I'll see you next game. So it's like, that's what like running this business is like. But like, you know, some people put up like 1,000 shots after the game, but like when that's over, they rest. And that's what we do too. You know what I mean? Right. So,
That's the most perfect analogy, because there's like, there's good point guards, there's not so good ones, and the good ones always stick out. Like, we're always going to remember John Stockton. We're always going to remember Chris Paul. We're always going to remember, people like that. So it's like, the best point guards always stand out.
And they never made it about themselves, you know? They shared it with everybody, and they made everybody else better around them. So that's exactly what goes on here. Like, we're not putting on the Janet Jackson microphone and teaching a class and being like, it's all about us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'll point someone out for being an asshole. So, no, I'm kidding. But, it's
hey,
like,
sometimes you have to, man.
They come in here to feel good and look good. So it's about making them a better version of themselves. Not to sound so cliche, but.
And they come here for help.
Exactly.
That's the whole point, is they're coming here because this is what I want. This is what I want to do. I need help. Mm-hmm. Right? So we're here to guide them as best that we can. And you know what? Sometimes being a trainer, being a coach, being a massage therapist, being a business, Like, it's not always going to be fun. It's not fun and games all the time. Like, you know that, right? So sometimes we have to be stern with people because that's what they need. It's not because we don't love them. We don't love that they're here. We don't love them as members, athletes, whatever. But, you know, even the clients that we've had for 8 to 10 years, you know why you haven't lost this weight. You know why, right?
Exactly.
Are you following your portions? Are you walking every day? Are you seriously? Like,
a coach.
Look at me right now and tell me
But they
I'm
wouldn't want to hear
trying.
from anybody else.
What's trying?
So,
like,
and
you
that's
know,
the
like
beauty of it.
we call people out because that's what they need. And you know what? When they end up losing the 10 pounds, or they end up pulling 405, or they end up, holy shit, I did it! Like, wow.
Yeah.
CJ.
I can. Sure.
I mean,
I see listen, I'm his
right?
first phone call every time he leaves here. I'm his first. I could be in the middle of doing whatever I'm doing, and I get a FaceTime from him like, yeah, I just left the gym. I just put up 365 on the squat. I did 450 whatever on this.
And
I'm
you know
like,
what? Right?
congratulations, bro. I'm
like,
proud of you, man.
Sometimes, when we're not feeling it, and we know we've got to do this is the workout we've programmed for ourselves or whatever. And sometimes we need to be able to lean on each other. So if that's what they're here, like, we need to be that for them at the moment because we believe in them and we know that they can do it because they don't believe in themselves for that moment or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even for each other when it's, you know, after hours and we have to get our workout in and we have to be back up at 4. And I know that I do not want to do it right now. And even Coach Kevin is here with us, and it's like, I'm dragging. All right, we got to get this done. Like, let's get something in for 45 minutes or an hour or whatever it is. We got to get home, we got to eat dinner, and we got to do it all over again tomorrow.
Right.
And we got to put, you know, that smiling face. And we love it. Like, I love what I do.
Oh, no, exactly.
And
it takes that love and that passion to do it. And I think the best people at it have that love and that passion for it genuinely. And
I feel like our members, they truly
they
feel
see
that.
Yeah.
And I'm not pointing at you, to CJ or Desi. And Desi started training with Teddy when he was a teenager. Like, so he and his brother, like, they get it, you know, like, so they know. And when we stick it to them, it's because we care and because we want to see them improve and do better. And that's what that feels like. Yeah. That.
I mean, even as a visitor, someone that's not here like routinely, I feel it when I walk in.
That's awesome.
And I just come to visit every once in a while and come and pop my head in, but that says a lot when someone like that can walk in and they feel the that genuine energy that you've created here. And that feel of like that family, the community, and just everyone kind of, everyone wants to walk in somewhere where everyone knows their name, just like the cheers,
Right.
It's the same thing. So, and it's that same element and feel that you've created here. It's almost like the magic of Starbucks in a sense.
It's like,
so it's like you've created your own fitness Starbucks here.
I think, that's just, I keep saying I think, but for us, this is our second home. We're here more than we are. Technically, we're here more than we are home right now. And we're entering into our 6th year, and it's been one hell of a year because of the pandemic. So it's kind of, I think it's thrown everybody for a loop, but I'm very proud of what we've done within this past year. Desi's a part of that. Coach Kevin is a part of that. It's been where even the larger facilities have, like, it's been rough, and this is one thing that people have been tweeting about, posting about. If it's one thing that people have needed through this pandemic, and even now more than ever, is fitness. Okay. And exercise. And health. Definitely. And having that accountability and being able to be social within what's appropriate for them, that's been, you see the change, like, when we reopened now and our members, and it's just like, just hearing that from them is like, I needed this so badly. Right. Like, this was my Christmas gift, or this was my gift to like, this is, you don't understand. Like,
oh, yeah, that's always a good one.
Right?
That's a great feeling. When you're someone's gift. Like, that's amazing. And
to be there for people, because we thrive on that. We're human. Right. We're not robots, so we feel things, and not every day is going to be our best day. Right. And sometimes that extra hour it changes everything, and it changes that whole day for them. Because there's plenty of times when I can see somebody's walking in a bad mood today. That's gonna change.
Yeah, that's
boy,
right.
That's gonna change.
It's just like therapy for a lot of people. They get their frustrations out, you know, the stresses from the day out. You know, the boss yelling at them all day or whatever it may be. It's like you said, the iron.
Oh my God.
You know, you
Iron
give it,
therapy?
it can take
Like,
it.
you know.
Yeah, you can give it, it can take it. So take it out on the iron.
The metal, the iron. You know.
Right.
It's true.
So I kind of like, I guess almost that kind of segues, if I can force a segue in there, into, I guess, giving the client the medicine with the candy. Finding that perfect balance of giving them the things they need compared to the things they want. Because I'm sure you've come across many of the clients where you're like, bro, your body is all out of line, it's out of whack, it looks messed up to the 9th degree, but I understand you like deadlifting 400 pounds. I get it. Like, that's your thing. You love doing it, and we're going to make that happen for you, but please let me try to realign your hips, or please let me try to work on your shoulder mobility, or whatever it may be, and things like that. So what is, I guess, your secret sauce of how you kind of incorporate that into your training?
I guess the fact that we don't focus so much on specific exercises. It's just everything, again, going back to like common denominators, everything will usually fit into like a squat, or if you even want to say a knee dominant, a hinge, you know, horizontal, vertical, press and pull, and even just like basic like crawling and unilateral movements. So it's like, how can we make this interesting, fun, but something they need, and then know that in like our hip pocket we have like regressions or progressions ready for everybody to do it, well, like, so that we can keep everything running smoothly and efficiently in a class setting. You know, so it's like, yeah, we know you love to deadlift, barbell deadlift, right? So it's technically a hinge. There's plenty of other hinges we can switch out, whether it be like in a split stance or a single leg, or maybe it's more of like a Romanian deadlift instead of regular deadlift, whatever, right? So our kettlebell swing, you know, like whatever. So just making it really better for them. And we won't do like a whole workout just on the deadlift, you know, we'll sprinkle in other things so that they're constantly getting mobility.
Absolutely. Oh my
there's
God.
Stretching, there's core work.
Before the workout, within the workout, absolutely. Oh
Laughter is
my God.
always going to be the way that we give them the candy.
Right.
Well,
That's
I don't
that
like to
spoonful
do
of
this.
sugar.
Well, why don't you like to do this? What's going on in your body that is making you not like it?
Right.
Like what? Oh, well, you sit at a desk for 14 hours a day. Let's figure out the movements, and let's figure out what we can do to make that movement better.
Right.
Okay, what you're doing right there, does that hurt? Does that feel good? Let's do more of that.
Exactly.
And then again, with the app, it allows us to program certain exercises in their dashboard, so that I've programmed plenty of the members that actually have homework during the week. That they have, okay, stop for 5 minutes, get off your computer, and go do X, Y, and Z.
Got it.
See what I
Right.
mean? Okay, so-and-so, let's substitute this for that, because we're still working on your shoulder mobility. We're still working on this, that, or the other thing. Let's add this in instead. Let's just substitute it. How does that feel? My shoulder feels amazing. Okay, let's do more of that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's more about, okay, so like, well, why? Instead of just totally avoiding it, then let's figure out what's going on, and let's help you get there.
Right.
Some
like training
variation.
through motion in that regard.
Right? Pain is not an option, right?
Right.
We don't want pain.
Right.
We want you to feel good. We want movement. We want fluidity. Like, it doesn't matter. And there are plenty of athletes, too, that don't move properly. And even they come back from college and it's like, holy crap. We need to reevaluate here. What is going on?
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Right?
And kind of talking about athletes too. I coach a lot of kids, and I like to, especially the parents, I like to tell this a lot too, but we're all the same era and generation of kids where we didn't stick to one sport, where we weren't one sport specialist, and we didn't have, you know, the benefits and the flaws that came with sticking to one sport. We played it all. We swung a baseball bat. We played basketball. We played catch and football. We'd run and play tag and jump rope and do backflips off fences.
Oh my
and
God.
we came from the outside kid era.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of the kids nowadays where they're these one sport specialists, and they're literally drilled into like playing tennis or basketball or football or whatever it may be at a young age, all the way up until they get to that point where they almost burn out. And their body now suffers because of it, because now their body only works on a transverse plane because they've been swinging a baseball bat their whole life, but they have nothing in the frontal or sagittal plane.
And are they even moving properly within that plane?
Exactly.
You know?
And so I find nowadays we can almost kind of work in reversing that, and kind of like that one sport body theory where we have to make everyone multi-sported without playing multiple sports. And I think that's, I guess that's where the actual job and work comes in, is figuring out how different ways to recreate that without saying, all right, let's swing a bat 100 times today, or let's try to shoot a bunch of jump shots, or let's try to, teaching the body to move in different ways that it hasn't done in ever, maybe in a lot of cases, or just in a long time in most of the cases with athletes that come, these one sport specialists.
I agree. I mean, you want to tell the story about one of the athletes where he was having all this hip pain? Rotational athlete.
I was actually thinking of something else.
Oh, go ahead. Well, we can get back
same
to it.
sport, though.
Yeah, okay,
We
go
had
ahead.
a 13-year-old break their arm twice because the dad's so fucking crazy about,
another
baseball, and, like, had them signing up for, like, national tournaments at 7. The fuck? And, like, my whole thing is, like, let kids be kids, I mean, yeah, you want to push them as they get older, but, I mean, you're yelling at your children on the field when they're still calling you daddy.
Right.
Like, the kid is pitching, and he's saying, Daddy, is this how you throw a curveball? Like, saying it to the dugout, and I'm like, this kid's fucking 7.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What the hell? And then, the dad constantly be like, so what should I change this scenario? I was like, you should let the kid be a kid, like, or else he's gonna burn out. Lo and behold, 6 years later, they come back, like, they took, like, a year or 2 off from training here, comes back, and he's like, you gotta fix my son. I'm like, well, what's wrong? And I already knew what was wrong, but I want to hear the parent say it. Yeah. And he's like, he's got an elbow pain. And so we look at him, what's going on? Well, he's just forcing everything through his arm. Like, there's actually, like, 0 movement coming through the shoulder, let alone the T-spine. And then he generates no power from his hips. And the kid's, like, pretty big for his size, so it's like, all right, so you're not using any part of your body that you could probably get more velocity from. Right? So eventually, it's like driving your car without getting an alignment. Something's going to break down eventually, right? So then, boom, broke his elbow. That healed, but he rushed the kid back. So he's like, oh, well, I can't have him play the infield. I'll have him play catcher. It's like, well, he's throwing every fucking play now. Put him at first base if you have to play him. So what happened next? Well, then he broke his arm. So, like, everything's got to be moving right, and you if you want the most out of your body, and you gotta be able to listen to your body. Like, if your body's in pain, there's a reason. Your body's being like,
stress signal.
Yeah. At the same time, like, knowing when it's soreness and pain, but still, it's just. And then the rotational, so then we had another baseball player, right? He was he kept hurting his back.
Oh my God.
And
I'm sorry.
There
his
was
back. I apologize. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was his back and his hip. He had hip pain, but there was literally
no rotation.
He had horrible internal rotation of his, his lead leg, his lead hip. So it was never absorbing any force properly, and he would create force through his rear foot, his back leg, but he would never absorb it right, and then all the energy. So, like, let's say he was doing a med ball scoop toss, he would create it but never follow through. The front hip would never absorb it, and then he would just rip through the movement, just his upper body. So it's like something's gonna break. Like, your abs never transferred the power.
And he ended up hurting his shoulder, didn't he?
Yeah.
Rotator cuff for power.
Yeah, he's done playing baseball.
And a good friend of ours, who's a doctor of physical therapy, had sent him to us. We're like, look, he needs help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, and I struggle trying to find different ways of trying to, like, I guess reiterate that to parents. And it's kind of like, I understand, like, you want him to be like a basketball player, you want him to be like a baseball player, whatever it is, but you're doing him a disservice by drilling this one sport in, and taking the experience of doing other things away, which will actually enhance said sport. It's actually, you know, you're damaging the kids long term. Like, now they have these long term problems where if now they did, let's say, most case scenarios, they don't go to play professional in this sport. Now they have all the problems that they dealt with from chasing this dream their whole life.
Yeah, and really focusing on patterns, movement patterns, and I think that, you know, that age old myth where, oh, you know, lifting weights is going to stunt your growth. I can't, my child can't lift anything, and well, we're not going to throw 500 pounds on their back.
Right.
Like, what does their body weight squat look like? What does their crawl movement look like? What does their hinge look like? What can they hinge? Period. Like, you know, are they? Is it? It's not important for them to be overhead pressing right now. What does their posture look like? Oh my God, some of these kids with their posture and all the texting and everything. Like,
right. A lot of these kids now, they look worse than the adults.
It's really
I see
bad.
now. And it's a mixture of being on the phone, them sitting inside playing video games all day. Then they go to school, they sit at the desk, and then it's like they do a lot more sitting nowadays. And it's affecting them physically, it's affecting them mentally, it's affecting them, like, spiritually. Like, if you're in that kind of stuff, like,
absolutely.
So,
No, well, we're so many, that's why we're human. We're not robots. Like, there's different levels, right, to us.
Yeah.
So there's days when we're going to feel better than others. There's days when maybe we need to meditate, or maybe we need to go out for a run, or maybe we need to lift heavy shit, or maybe we need to,
Right.
like, right? Maybe we need to go out to lunch with our friends, or whatever the case. Like, or maybe we just need to be by ourselves, you know, or whatever. Like,
Right.
what's going to work for you?
Exactly. So, yeah, I just hope, you know, not next, just kind of get this generation of kids, and then for the next generation of kids to come along and actually take care of themselves properly. And my focus has lately been on focusing on the kids and focusing on their mindset of how they look at fitness and how they treat their bodies, and, you know, what's, I guess, getting them used to knowing what's right or what's wrong of what I should be putting into my body or what I should be doing for my body. So I spent the whole summer, why some of the times I would kind of pop up here, I was going back and forth from LA to here one day a week to do a boot camp for all the kids in my old neighborhood.
Oh, it's so nice.
So we would have all the
So
kids come
nice.
out to Orchard Beach. We do boxing boot camps. We do, you know, sand drills and
So good.
basketball drills and stuff like that. Just for all the kids, we'd have 50, 60, 70 different kids come out.
That's
Different
dope.
giveaways. We had Bobby Portis from the Knicks come and talk to the kid one day. So just kind of doing stuff like that. And I've wanted to shift my focus on the youth, because I feel like that's going to be the actual change that we're going to see in, you know, changing the obesity rate to a certain number, or having the mental health numbers go down, and getting people back to being outside and being more social and being more active and things like that. Is, you know, we kind of have to change the scope from within, and from within would be focusing on the kids. And, you know, they've had their chance to play video games inside all day, but now we have to kind of cut that now.
Yeah.
And get them physical and get them more active and getting them used to, you know, there's kids that don't
Communicating.
even know how to communicating. They don't even.
That's the biggest thing.
One thing I recently learned about, they have therapists for kids that teach them how to play with one another.
And that's
And-
what it's come to.
Yeah, and it boggled my mind that, like, we have to teach kids now how to interact with one another. Like, they don't know how to just figure that out. Like, that came so natural to, like, us.
Because that's how we
Like,
were.
me and him
know?
met each other literally from me being 3 years old, him being 2 years old, and I threw my football that I was playing with over into his yard. His grandmother grabbed the football, gave it back to my grandmother. They started talking, and then from them, me and him met each other, and now you see the relationship now to this day.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And to me, that concept seems so simple, to now hear that we have to now teach kids how to interact with one another. it's disheartening, and it's like we have to almost focus on them the most at this point and show them like this is health, this is how you take care of yourself, this is good healthy ways of living. It's not just make friends just to make friends. Like this is actually a healthy way of living, having human interaction with one another.
Yeah, we're here to, I mean, socialization is an extremely important part of life, and I think that with human behavior, that's part of how you thrive. There was a study done years ago, I think it was the NICU, the hospital, I don't remember the hospital, but they had one batch of newly born children and another batch of newly born children, where the one batch of newly born children were caressed and held and spoken to and fed, like there was a lot of communicating and touching, and the nurses were very active in them thriving. And the other batch, there was none of that. And the batch that were held and caressed and spoken to and all those wonderful things, they really thrived. They put on weight. These were all children that were not doing so well. And the other batch didn't do so well. So I forget when that was. I just remember as a massage therapist even learning that in school how many years ago. And it just goes to show you that the communication, the socialization, even if it's one-sided, because when you have people who are in comas, they interact with you, and the brain waves are there. The connection is there, even though they might not be able to speak back. The connection is there. So it's all about that connection. We thrive on human touch. We thrive on that energy. That give and the feeding back and forth, that ebb and flow. It just feels good. So we can't. It's kind of like living without the sun. You know that without living without sun, and you're not supplementing that way, there are going to be some bad things that happen. Yeah. It's the same thing with that human interaction.
It's kind of piggyback off that. I was living in Portland, Oregon for a year and doing some training and stuff out there, and it was the first time I actually saw billboards for tanning salons. And they advertise it as get your vitamin D, come to Tan Republic, blah 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 blah. But I was like, get your vitamin D, and the person I was with at the time, they were like, yeah, like here, Seattle, this is the highest depression, suicide rate in the country because they don't get sun most of the year that are in that region of the country.
There's a lot of rain, right? It's very lush.
A lot of rain, a lot of clouds. Like they literally get the sun comes out maybe 3-4 months out of the year. And I experienced it because I was living in Portland, so I actually saw it, and I was like, wow, they really don't get a lot of sun here.
Oh my God.
And that was my first lesson in how important just being in the sun is, and getting vitamin D and getting the sun rays to hit you, and it literally gives us life. You can look at something as simple as a plant and see you're not going to get any growth out of a plant without the sunlight or any form of light.
There's certain things that we need, that we actually need to thrive. So I mean, we could get through, but you'll thrive with that human connection.
Right. Definitely.
Like
now, this human connection we're doing now.
Isn't that nice?
Exactly. Right.
So nice.
So I mean, that's as far as anything I wanted to talk about.
You had a lot of good topics there, Franklin.
Yeah, anything that I really wanted to talk about. But yeah, it was just great talking to you guys, and just like I said, just anytime I'm here, just being around you guys, or just I honestly told him when I came, I was like, yo, I need to lift weights. I haven't lifted any weights really all year because all the gyms have been closed. I don't have any weights to my disposal, so I was like, but just Christmas Eve, running around seeing family and all that good stuff, I never really got a chance to do that. So it was at some point I wanted to
but seeing everybody too was big.
Yeah, but that was more important to me, and just making sure especially with keep saying this year with all this stuff going on, but make sure I wanted to be around my family and have that quality time, and it is awakening to let you know that life is really precious and it's short, and you have to cherish every moment that we have, because nobody pictured this year being like this. I can literally remember last year this time when everyone was 2020, this is going to be my year, this is going to be great, 2019 sucked, 2020 is going to be great. I can literally remember going through Instagram, seeing everyone's memes and their posts, and going to New Year's parties and Christmas parties. Everyone was getting ready and psyched for 2020, and then looked at the year that we had.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it was a good reminder to let everyone know that this is real life, and it's like what you think is gonna happen is probably not gonna happen, and it's good to like stay open-minded and stay, open to different possibilities and options, and
have a plan. And be accountable.
Right.
And be creative.
and most importantly, find what's most important to you and stick with that, because I think that was the biggest lesson this year, is finding what was the most important things to you and what you can actually live with and live without. Because something as simple as people were going out, to eat at restaurants or going to clubs and doing stuff like that, and they couldn't do it anymore, and they realized, like, some people realized, like, I really didn't enjoy that stuff. I like actually cooking and making my food at home. Or some people actually really felt like they can't enjoy food unless it's served to them. So it's kind of interesting it's almost like a social study, kind of finding out like how all this has affected different people and how they feel after it. So I'm really excited to kind of see what life is going to look like after this, honestly. I know. I haven't been more excited for my future than now, honestly. And I honestly feel that way just about health industry and as a whole. Like, I feel like everyone should kind of feel the most excited right now than ever, because it's just like this big hole now, and it's like a big gap that's gonna need to be filled, and this one, like, who is gonna be the people to fill that void? So yeah, definitely see that for you guys, though. So and
that's good.
I wish nothing but many blessings and all the good stuff for you guys in the future, and like definitely gonna check out the app, want to see what's on there, and
totally,
I want to help any way I can help you and you guys' success. Let me know.
Thank you, Franklin. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. Love all the good energy. We need more of it in this world.
Oh, yeah, right? Like, we're not going to get anywhere unless we help each other. So.
So true.
And, people say that a lot, and I've also noticed people say that a lot, but, it's the actions that follow, that have to follow. So
absolutely.
I try to be less words and more action.
Absolutely.
So, thanks for having me on.
Franklin, thank you so much.
It.
Thank you for having us, too.
Yeah.
And thank you guys.
Anything else to add?
No, I think that was wonderful. I don't even know. It was awesome.
It was a great powwow.
Yeah.
That was definitely a great powwow.
Overdrive Fitness, odfitnessny.com.
Yeah, you can check us out at overdrivefitnessny.com, on Instagram and Twitter at odfitnessny. OnlyFans, it's Destroyer. No, I'm not gonna blow up your OnlyFans account.
That's a very select.
It's a very select crowd.
I almost took that serious. I was like, you guys have an OnlyFans too? I was like, you guys are visionaries.
Talk about freaky shit. No, I'm joking.
You should see the fitness trends.
Dude, what with the barbell?
No, man. So that was the Instagram. You guys
Instagram,
the Instagram, the Twitter, the website. The app is Overdrive Fitness.
Overdrive Fitness
is the app. All right. So yeah, definitely I want to get that out to anybody that follows Nutrizone. Anyone is looking for any sort of fitness, health advice. These are my people over here, Gina, Teddy. They're here to take care of you. If you're in New York, if you're ever traveling, you need a good place to go. Any low-key places that you come upstate, get out of the city for a little bit, get out of the hustle and bustle, and check out Overdrive Fitness. You
want to stay where you are, we can work with you. California, Washington, Oregon, wherever you are, Florida, South Carolina.
Yep, right. Mars.
Why not? We can work with you.
All right, and I guess we're signing out.
Yeah. Catch you guys all next week on another episode of Overdrive AF.
All right.